Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Anna. I am a content writer and an aspiring author, and this is the channel where I talk about all of that. This video has two purposes. I am preparing myself for a 24-hour write-a-thon, which at this point has passed. I finished it last night, and I technically have no idea how it went because I'm filming this the day before. This is what I'm doing to prepare for the 24-hour write-a-thon. You'll get to see how the 24-hour write-a-thon went in the next video. One of the next videos will actually be all of the books that I've read so far in the first half of the year. So it might be that one instead, but you'll see how the 24-hour write-a-thon went in the end. If either of those interest you, make sure that you're subscribed so that you're updated when I upload a new video. The second part of this video is what I'm doing for Camp NaNaWriMo July. If you want to see what I'm doing in order to prepare for a 24-hour write-a-thon, trudge on. Prep for the 24-hour write-a-thon started a few days ago. Today is currently the 15th, I think. Either the 15th or the 16th. Either way, it's Thursday. I still have approximately 2 weeks until the write-a-thon, which means that I have plenty of time to do the things that I need to do in order to make the write-a-thon a success. Now, the things that I have prepped, I have several sections of the story that need to get done, and mentally it helped to think of them instead of the entire story chronologically in the way that it needs to be told. It helped to think of each individual section, each individual storyline as, you know, its own thing. I separated them into the sections that I will be working on over the next couple of weeks. I do have potentially five storylines, not storylines, but 5 sections that I have to work on over the next couple of weeks. One is the final section that I will be working on that day. I've taken individual scenes that I've thought up for that section that need to happen in order to make the final moment hit the way it needs to hit. I've written them down, and I'm just going to be doing this whole point and shoot method that I have been doing over the last couple of weeks to get the story done. It really helped me to start actually showing progress when I started taking my emotional overwhelm out of it and started instead seeing it as just tasks that needed to be eliminated. So I would take a scene and I'd write it, and I'd take a scene and I'd write it, and that really started helping me see progress in the story that I was writing. I have been writing a lot more at night recently. The baby wasn't sleeping very well. He'd wake up every hour or so, and I felt like I couldn't make any actual progress because it takes me a little while to get into a writing session. Like, I take a good 20 to 30 minutes to actually hit a nice flow. And then, you know, he'd wake up and I would have to go take care of him. I'd be out of the flow, and so writing at night just didn't work for me. But now he's sleeping a lot better. He doesn't wake up for 3 to 4 hours at a time at night, and it's delightful. We all sleep a lot better. It means that at night I can have a good chunk of writing time. The kids are out playing in the neighborhood, and then they are pretty self-sufficient in getting themselves ready for bed. All I do is go up and sing to them and tell them good night and I love them and all that jazz, and then I get back into writing, and it's a lot easier for me to get back into it after such a short amount of time. Writing at night has been a huge benefit recently, and I think that should, you know, provided that everything all comes together the way that it should, I will hopefully be finishing this story at the end of the month. I'm so excited about that. Like, I can't tell you the joy that brings to my heart to actually be able to say that this story is done, at least for the time being. You know, I do plan on reworking the story, making it all chronologically fit. It'll just be nice to have a draft of the story finished. Last I updated you was last week sometime, so this coming week in 3 days, I'll be doing the 24-hour write-a-thon. And so what I've been doing in order to prepare for this, I took all of the articles, all of my content that I was supposed to write for the month, and I did it all last week. That way this week I can focus solely on the story. Speaking of which, I am a content writer, and if you're interested in that kind of service, you could go ahead and look in the description. The link to my website is there. This week I get to focus completely on the story. It is a little bit late to get too intensive today, but I do still want to write several scenes if I can manage it. The time that I normally would have spent writing content for other people and writing instead content for myself, working on the story completely. Have 1, 2, 3 full days, and Thursday morning I plan on not really working, mainly because that night I start and I don't want to take up more of my family's time than I already do. I will start Thursday night at 6 o'clock sharp. Have some odds and ends sort of scenes that I know that I need to put together and write. Thursday night I will start on that other perspective that I'll be writing exclusively. I know what I want, I just don't know what needs to happen. So that's what I'll be working on that day. I thought it was gonna be my family that would be hard to film around, but today apparently there are, I don't know, some person thinks it's cool to chop wood at 8 a.m. I have decided that no matter how far I actually get on, well, throughout this week and on Thursday and Friday, that I'll be done with this draft because I have been working on it long enough. I want to be done with this draft. And I feel like I'm at a good enough point where the story needs to be restructured. It needs to be figured out on a plot level. I have the entire story plotted out. However, the way that I've been writing in the document is I will rewrite in another document and then put the scene into whatever spot of the document that I think is the most appropriate position to put the scene in. And that's been working, except that it's not complete. It's not entirely the right spot for it, and I know that. And so next month the goal is to be reworking everything, filling in holes, and making it ultimately a complete story. It doesn't really matter if the story is done, because there's still going to be a lot of work that needs to get done. And I have been working on this draft long enough that I feel comfortable enough saying that I can be done after Thursday. I do think that I'm going to get a lot done throughout this week, and there will be a lot of progress made, but I do know that I'm probably not going to finish everything, and it's not going to be a complete draft either way. So at the end of this month, draft 1 is done. Next month, I move on to draft 2, where I will restructure everything. And that's all I really wanted to say. Also, I got these gloves. Well, my husband got me these gloves. He grew up playing the piano and have always had really bad carpal tunnel and pain in my fingers. And he got me these, and they surprisingly work really, really well. They're just like compression gloves, and they help. Like, since I put them on, I have not had any pain or achiness involved, and that's really nice. I have probably a very minor dilemma, but it's something that upsets me just a little bit. So for some reason, my computer decided to, like, I don't even know. I left my computer yesterday because I was done with work. Apparently I didn't close out my files though, telling me that there are a couple of auto recovered files on the things that I was working on yesterday on Project DW. That's fine, except that I think I pulled up the regular document, the one that was not auto recovered, and I added stuff into it, and I'm not entirely sure which file is the most correct, basically. I don't know which one has all of the things in it that I need to have in it, and it's probably not too huge a deal. They're not too different, but like I don't like having more than one in one spot. So like I'm okay having on an SD drive or on an SD card, or, you know, on Google Docs. I don't mind having them in separate places because I need them to be there. But having them both on the same computer is stressing me out because I don't know which one is the most correct. And it is like such a simple thing. And the changes probably are pretty negligible. You know, they're not very different, but they're still there. And so I kind of just don't know which one to keep is ultimately what it comes down to. And like just that simple decision. Okay, I'm deleting the auto recovered one. No, because like what if there's something on there that I don't remember is on there, that needs to be on there, that I forget needs to be on there because I don't actually know that it's gone. It hurts. Okay, we'll just, you know, I'll just save as, the auto recovered version, back to the one that I was doing. When all is said and done, I will go through and I will make sure that I have all the files. Okay, I guess right now would be as good a time as any to discuss Camp NaNaWriMo. So today, if you do not know, I am currently working on completing draft 1 of Project EW. At the moment, no matter what happens on my 24-hour write-a-thon, I will be calling it quits on this draft. I'll move on, restructure everything, start on draft 2, and fill in the holes where they need to be filled, basically. That brings us to NaNaWriMo. The first goal is to rework Project EW and get it into a readable draft. Next month, the goal will be to restructure the draft entirely, make it fit the plot through it again, and figure out what the story needs in terms of new scenes to be added, scenes to be taken away. I don't think I'll be taking anything away. I'm pretty sure everything is pretty solid. The things that will be changed, I decided not to change right now. That'll be draft 2's problem. I will be going through eliminating anything that doesn't need to be in there anymore. I also plan on doing another project alongside it, and this project is something that I have been working on for years. I had the idea for it first when I was back in school. I had a creative writing class and I was supposed to write a short based on a dream that I had. Character design. You can't just do something small. Like in the end, what ends up happening is it balloons out, especially where I was back then. I had no idea how to write a story. I had no idea how to maintain what I had and complete what I had without going forward and creating this entirely new thing out of this one little thing. So I'll have this little thing and it ends up huge. That short turned into a full-fledged 13-book series. I dialed it back a little bit because at the time I was feeling like super stressed, and I was like, okay, how many books would it take to tell this story accurately? I dialed it back to 6. And then I decided in the last couple of weeks that I didn't just want to keep it at 6. If you've been here for any length of time, you know it. The All O Unlikely series, this girl is working with the police in order to avenge the death of her friend and find the murderer. It is set on the world that I've created, Valra. It's high fantasy police procedural. Think like Carnival Row, but without the fairies or magic. There is magic on this world, but not in this specific story. Like, it's not important to the story. It is to others, so it will be delved into. However, it's not for this one. It was a 13-book series. It's now an 8-book series after becoming a 6-book series. It's been a whole thing, and I will put a playlist in the wherever so that you can go check it out if you want to. I have actually spent time on this story already. In 2021, I believe, I actually plotted the entire series, drafted 2 books. I've got them right here. I printed them out because I could at the time, and why not? If you remember, I was actually in the process of getting everything ready to publish these stories, not just writing them. For Camp NaNaWriMo, I will be revisiting the story, replotting the entire series, putting it into an order that makes sense, that is logical for the progression of the characters, and getting myself ready to write the rest of the books. Camp NaNaWriMo, complete Project DW and get it into a readable format for other people. The second goal for Camp NaNaWriMo is to replot All O Unlikely and get it ready to draft. I would like, ideally, to draft all 8 books in the series in rapid succession and work through all of them at the same time. I'm going to cut this off right here because technically I am still working on Project EW. Today's the last day technically to prep for my 24-hour write-a-thon, and I've made some good progress this morning, but I still have about 2.5 hours to work on it, and I'm going to make the most use of that time. Just for a second, let me show you what I'm doing. On second thought, I won't, because I realized what I'm working on right now is very, very spoilery, and I don't mind sharing things about my stories, but I will not share the plot twists. Today is technically the last day that I will be working on this story before the 24-hour write-a-thon. It is Wednesday, the 28th, and it begins Thursday, the 29th at 6 p.m. And I'm super excited. I cannot wait. I'm a little bit nervous. I've never done this kind of thing before, but I'm hoping that the things that I have in place set me up for success. So that's what I've been doing. Those are my Camp NaNaWriMo goals. What are you doing for Camp NaNaWriMo? Please tell me in the comments. I would love to hear it. I don't actually do stuff on the website, so don't look for me there. However, I still want to participate in NaNaWriMo. I struggle with the website in general. If you want to stay connected, I'm actually changing my Discord over to just a general chat place. If you want to jump over there and hang out and do sprints and stuff, there's a link to the Discord in the comments. I'm going to cut this off. If you're new to my channel and want to hang out a little longer, make sure that you're subscribed so that you're updated every time I upload a new video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, keep writing forward.